Imagine waking up to find yourself stranded in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. No food, no water, no hope of rescue. Could you survive for even a day? Now, picture living through this nightmare for 76 days. This is the true story of Stephen Callahan, a man who turned the impossible into survival and became a living legend in one of history's most harrowing sea ordeals. It was 1981. Stephen Callahan, an experienced sailor, was living his dream, sailing solo across the Atlantic. His boat, Napoleon Solo, was small but sturdy, and Stephen was confident in his ability to navigate the unpredictable ocean. But the sea, as we know, is full of surprises. Just 6 days into his journey, the disaster struck. In the dead of night, something rammed into his boat, likely a whale or debris, tearing it apart. Water flooded the cabin as Stephen scrambled to grab what little he could. A life raft, some survival supplies, and spear gun. By morning, Stephen was adrift, 800 miles from the nearest land, alone on a tiny life raft with no way to call for help. He began his fight for survival. His supplies were meager, a few packets of survival biscuits, some emergency water, and a solar still to collect more. He was completely at a mercy of the ocean. Stephen knew that every sip of water and every bite of food was precious. To make them last, he rationed everything to the bare minimum. But the biggest enemy wasn't hunger or thirst. It was time. Weeks stretched into months, and the ocean became both his ally and his greatest threat. To survive, Stephen had to adapt. Using his spear gun, he caught fish and even scavenged barnacles growing on his raft. But survival came with its risks. Sharks, drawn by the scent of his catch, circled the raft. One bump from their massive bodies could tip him over or puncture the raft. And then there were the storms. Towering waves and violent winds tossed the raft like a toy. Each storm tested Stephen's resolve, pushing him closer to the edge of exhaustion. As if that wasn't enough, the ocean itself seemed determined to break him. One night, a school of fish, ironically his source of food, chewed through the raft's underside, forcing Stephen to make desperate repairs in the middle of the night. Every hole patched felt like a temporary reprieve from disaster. By the 30th day, Stephen was physically drained. By the 50th, he was hallucinating. The isolation was unbearable, with no one to talk to. Stephen started speaking to the sea, the sky, even to the fish he caught. It wasn't his body that needed strength to survive. It was his mind. But even in the darkest moments, Stephen held on to the hope. He wrote down his thoughts, planned his next move, and focused on staying alive one day at a time. On the 76th day, finally Stephen's nightmare ended. A passing fishing boat spotted his tiny raft and pulled him aboard. Emaciated, sunburned, and covered in sores, Stephen was unrecognizable, but he was alive. Against all odds, he had survived. Stephen Callahan had drifted over 1,800 miles across the Atlantic. His incredible story of resilience, ingenuity, and sheer willpower remains one of the greatest survival tales in history. Looking back, Stephen credits his survival to his skills as a sailor and his ability to stay calm under pressure. But even he admits there was moments when he thought it was over. His story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and unyielding will to live. Could you survive 76 days alone at the sea? Stephen Callahan's story is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit can rise above. If this story amazed you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Gyani Chats, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another incredible survival story. Until next time, stay curious and stay inspired. You can go check out the new or the previous videos which can help you to self improve yourself.